Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through my new pedalboard setup. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm starting a new series today that is going to feature some analog and digital products. So I'm going to combine them all in one pedalboard, and it's going to be a fun series. So if you haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe down below and click that bell. So over the years, I've put together a lot of different pedal boards, and I'll link a video somewhere up here so you can watch my walkthrough of a lot of cool boards I've had over the years. And they'll kind of give you an idea of the past experiences that I've had of buying different pedals and arranging them and trying to figure out how to fit everything onto a board that you need but also looks cool. And I do need to preface this by saying this board is totally not necessary. I am very, very happy with my headrush pedal board, with the gig board. For everything that I do here in the studio, that's pretty much all I need. But I still like pedals. I still like other products, other brands. There's just a lot of things that other companies offer that are fun to play with. So why not combine a lot of those elements and aspects and throw them all on one board? So without further ado, let me show you the board that I have. This is a Rockboard Trace 3.1. Okay. This pedal's not falling off because it already has Velcro on there. And then on the bottom, we have a lot of space for power supplies, which I already had this board set up with the same power supplies I'm about to use, but then I broke it down because I wanted to change it up. And now I'm going back. So, hey, why not, right? So I got plenty of space there, and I'm missing a foot there, but that's not a big deal, okay? So, Rockboard Trace 3.1, this is a great size for a pedal board. And as you'll see, I've done my Tetris homework, and I've found a way to maneuver all the pedals around so they fit nicely. So, what we're doing here is we're combining the Boss MS-3, okay? And what this is going to do is give us the MIDI switching capabilities to use with the Line 6 HX Stomp. So, when this first came out, I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't really know how you would utilize 3 buttons on a small device like this. But now that I've had it for a little while, and I've kind of discovered the magic behind why you would even want to buy a Stomp in the first place, I was like, yeah, this is a keeper. It's great. And just for those who do not know, the HX Stomp is the baby little brother of the full-size Helix. And that has all the amps, all the effects, all the cab, IR stuff you would ever want, MIDI routing, just tons of crazy stuff. So this doesn't have near the same amount of DSP that the HX Effects or the full-size Helix has. But for what I'm going to be using it for, it's going to be great. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw that on the board right here. And if you're wondering if I'm going to have enough space in between the pedals for jacks and all that, don't worry. I've done this before. I'm a professional, and I know what cables I'm going to be using, so I know how to gauge space between the pedals, okay? Now, I could set up a board just with the MS-3 and the HX Stomp and be perfectly fine. It would have everything that I need. I could combine effects from the MS-3, because once again, it's Boss, and Boss is just known for classic effects. So, I'm going to use that for a lot of stuff. I'm going to use the HX Stomp for a lot of stuff. But I recently saw Brian Wampler on YouTube and Instagram release his Rat's Bane rat pedal. And I'm like, dude, I love me a good rat. And do I really want to buy like a $100 version? Do I want to buy a vintage one from the 80s that has a special chip in it? You know what? Brian Wampler knows what he's doing. I'm just going to buy the Rat's Bane and say that's my rat sound. So, here's the Wampler Rat's Bane. And it's probably not going to focus all that well. but this has some gain switch capabilities, some different voicings, you know, the classic 3-knob volume, distortion, and filter, and you're on and off. So that sucker is going to go right here. And next on the list from Wampler Pedals is the bam, it's the Tumnus. Now, I did actually buy this because I mistakenly watched the Anderton TV shootout between, like, I think 9 or 11, somewhere in there, 11 different Klon style pedals, and to their ears, the Tumnus beat out the real thing. So if you're wondering, does the Tumnus stack up against other Klon style pedals? Heck yes it does, and just buy it. It's small, it sounds great, and that sucker is going right there. Alright, now, this is probably something that I can get away using in the digital realm, but I've never had this style of pedal before, and this is the Bell Overdrive, once again from Wampler, and I think it's the NDR, ODR, I don't remember, whatever it is. Whatever pedal this is based on, this thing sounds great. It's not as mid-range humped as like a full-on Tube Screamer. It's kind of a little bit more tame in the mids, but it does help push similar frequencies that helps you get in that territory. So the Bell Overdrive is going to go horizontal this way. And then last of my pedals is going to be the Mooer Yellow Comp. Now, I actually have had this pedal for, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years. I actually sold it to a friend. He used it for a little while, and then he didn't want to use it anymore, so I gladly bought it back. And this is going to be the first pedal that I plug my guitar into. Alright, and this does have Velcro on the bottom, so this will be a little sticky right there. And then last but not least, I'm going to use my Mission Engineering L6, which I actually toured Europe with this pedal. And I think I've had this for at least 8 years. It's worked great. It's built like a tank, and it has your classic wah-wah pedal style, you know, foot feel thing. And that's going to go right here. Okay. Now I am strategically going to use this with the HX Stomp to add some wah-wah in there, maybe some volume pedal, or maybe just control gain or whatever I want with my foot. Alright, so this is a very rough layout, and in future videos I will be adding Velcro, I'll be adding the power supply underneath, which I will reveal what the power supply for this board is going to be in a future video. So once again, if you haven't subscribed and clicked the bell, be sure to do that down below. Alright, so let's just talk through some signal flow things here, okay? I kind of did some brainstorming, and I had to really figure out, it's like, alright, I want to use the HX Stomp as my amp, but I also want to be able to play through a real cab when I'm at the house, or maybe I'm at a jam session, I just have a real cab with me. So I'm actually going to use the Quilter Interblock 45 as my power amp. And what that means is I'm going to use the effects return of the amplifier, which means it bypasses all the EQ and preamplifier type knobs. So all those are going to be bypassed, and only the master knob is going to work on this pedal. But what that allows me to do is send a signal out from the HX Stomp, which would be technically last in my chain. And then the output of that is going to go to the effects return of the Quilter. And then I have a speaker output right here on the side, conveniently placed to where it just sends a speaker cable out to my 2x12 cab or any other cab that I may be using. And I can still use the left and right outputs of the Stomp and also the headphone jack on the side to either send to maybe 2 FR speakers, maybe it could be front of house. It could just be headphones if I'm practicing late at night or wherever, right? I can take this board anywhere because it's small enough. I can fly with it. I could take it to a hotel room. I could jam with it in a cabin, maybe on vacation or something. And it's just a fun little board to play with. That's the deal with the Stomp and the Quilter. Now, I think I could be using the 4-cable method, but that would mean I would have to either double up on 2 of these pedals going into 1 loop on the MS-3, which I may still do. I'm not quite sure yet, because I definitely want to use the Ratsbane on its own, and then use the Tumnus and the bell either in conjunction with each other, or I can just be like, I'm not going to use the bell right now, I'm just going to use the Tumnus, so I'm going to turn that off. And then whatever loop the Tumnus is going to be in, probably 1, right? Because if I have the bell and the Tumnus in the same loop, that would be 1. The Ratsbane will be in loop 2. And then loop 3 will be open to complete my 4-cable method. And if you haven't seen my videos on the 4-cable method, I'll link those up here, wherever they go. And you can check those out after you watch this video. Okay? So I could do 4-cable method, or another option, since the Stomp has this convenient send and return on the side here, I can treat the MS-3 just for my preamp effect. Okay, so what that means is I can go guitar into yellow comp, and then I can go out of the yellow comp into the input of my HX Stomp, and then I can use the effects loop on the side here to send out to the input of the MS-3, run all my pedals through the loops, and then out of the MS-3 back into the return of the Stomp. And that gives me a movable effects loop block that I can move these effects around and make sure they're before my amp. But it also means I can add a wah-wah pedal in the HX Stomp, and that would be before my dirt. I can add a phase, a flange from either the MS-3 or the HX Stomp. I can really do whatever I want. And I kind of got that idea from my friend Tim Fisher, who is recently on the channel showing off his Headrush gigboard based pedal board. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave another card up there somewhere so you can watch that video. And to me, that's fine, because keeping the MS-3 only in the preamp really alleviates like option paralysis, if you will. And if I know that I'm only going to be using these 3 pedals for my dirt, maybe some other pre-effect from the MS-3, I can really just concentrate using this Stomp for my amplifier and delay, some reverb, tremolo, chorus, stuff like that. And then have an IR at the end of the chain when I'm going direct out. I hope that makes sense. If there's any suggestions you have for this board, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But I think that's about it for this video. Once again, be sure to subscribe, click the bell. I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. Hey, wait a second. Before you go, be sure to check out the description down below. There's a lot of really cool links. And definitely be sure to check out my website, drmcfarlandstudios.com. See ya.